guys, welcome back! So, to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of the channel, I ask you guys to leave a few questions in the comments of my Total Recall episode. Just a couple of you did, so I went back to other older videos and grabbed a few random questions that you guys are constantly asking me. So, let's start this Q&A. Herbo77 asks, did you ever play on the Spectrum Dr. Livingstone Supongo? Yeah, many times. You can't imagine the hours spent playing it. I absolutely love the game. And I have to do a retrospective on Opera Soft. Yeah. Next one from Rediscovering Retro, Ian, cool man. So he asks, I've been meaning, he asks, I want to start a channel, but I have a little idea on where to start with editing software. What do you use? And how do you capture? Well, my favorite software for editing is Adobe Premiere Pro, and to capture retro stuff I use an Elgato game capture for recording clips of myself showing games, or for instance this video right here. Nowadays I use a Panasonic, what model is this? A Panasonic, sorry guys, DMC FZ200. Yeah, that's what I use nowadays, because if you recall, my other Panasonic died, and yeah, I had to buy a new one, sadly. And yeah, to capture recent games on Windows, I simply use NVIDIA's Shadowplay software. Yeah, it's that simple. Now, next one from Sloth Demon. He asks, can you tell me your favorite movies, or tell me some recommendations? Yeah, movies are my thing. Mostly from the 80s and early 90s. That's my favorite era for movies. Well, I have to point out the Indiana Jones franchise that I absolutely love. And yeah, Dr. Jones is my favorite movie hero ever. And what else? Predator, Terminator 1 and 2, Alien and Aliens, the first and the second one. I'm yet to watch the new one, the Alien Covenant. Lord of the Rings trilogy, yeah, obviously. Scarface, awesome movie, and from which GTA Vice City was inspired. And what else? A Platoon, Saving Private Ryan, awesome movie. Man, there's so many of them, and I can go there and grab a few. Yeah, for instance, sorry about that. For instance, Blade Runner, amazing movie. Jurassic Park, the very first one, is freaking amazing. Total Recall, yeah, from one of my latest episodes. True Lies from Schwarzenegger and directed by James Cameron. RoboCop, amazing movie and game. Yeah. And yeah, the Rambo franchise, First Blood, and this one, First Blood Part 2, are my favorites. Rambo 3 is also, yeah, a favorite of mine. Conan, this is an amazing movie, and with one of my favorite soundtracks ever on a movie. And what else? Yeah, these for just a couple of awesome laughs. Hot Shots Part 1 and Part 2. These were the days when Charlie Sheen was doing, yeah, interesting stuff, you know? Hot Shots is freaking amazing, Jesus Christ. Next, and next question from, sorry if I can spell your nicknames correctly, from Darkfall ZX. Yeah, he asks, how about some kind of an anthology video for Stormlord? Yeah, I simply love Stormlord too, and the soundtrack is freaking amazing on the ZX Spectrum. And yeah, Stormlord 2 is just a fantastic piece of software. And as I said, its title music is a work of art. That's a series that I want to review in the future. Yeah, stay tuned. Now from Thomas Convica, he asks, nobody didn't make video about Amiga exclusive titles. Can you do that? What about 20 or 30 best exclusive titles for the Amiga? Thomas, that's a pretty damn good idea. Yeah, 2017 will be the year for that video. And he also asks, Amiga mascot is for me Turrican. What's yours? Yeah, Turrican is one of those characters that, yeah, when we talk about it, the Amiga is the platform that comes in mind. So yeah, probably Turrican also for me, and maybe the Lemming, you know, because Lemmings is another franchise that brings the Amiga to mind, and those are two characters that I will always relate to Amiga gaming. And now next one from Luciano Bento. He asks, is there any possibility of other pop culture themes being featured in the show? Yeah, why not? Most certainly. If it's somehow related to video games, yeah, why not? I've done it a couple of times, making connections between video games and comic books and video games and movies. I used to draw comics and back in the 90s and play the drums. Also, as you know, if you've watched my top 10 pinball video games, I mentioned that I used to be a drummer on a black metal band, Portuguese black metal band. So those other areas of entertainment are something that I cherish and will always worship, you know? Luciano Bento also asks, and what about a video in good old Portuguese from time to time? Yeah, if you follow my channel, you know that I've made a few vlogs in Portuguese, those chain videos or tag videos. But let's put this right off the table. I've opted for an international approach because I wanted to share with other people from other countries what it was like to be a gamer in the 80s here in Portugal, and how piracy was a huge and legal deal back then, both for the pirate and for the end user, and simply try to show how my personal experience evolved and progressed through these last 35 years or something of my existence as a gamer, experiencing all those generations of gaming systems. As you all know, it all started with the ZX Spectrum 48K, then the 128K plus 2A. Lived intensely the arcade experience, cause in the city I live in we had these amazing and obscure places in where I would spend all my lunch money playing all sorts of titles in so many different genres. Also by that time played a ton on NES and C64 over at a friend's house that owned those two systems. Bought an Amiga 500. That was the closer we could get to that arcade experience. Again, played a ton on my cousin's Master System. Bought a Mega Drive 2. Then, when I was thinking on pursuing a career at programming, I had to shift towards the personal computer, and it was when I bought, with the precious help from my parents, I bought my very first PC, this mighty IBM PS1 486 DX2 66 MHz. Yeah, and after that, had all sorts of experiences on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Saturn over at friends' houses, and ended up grabbing a PS1 in late 90s, but games prices were so out of my reach that I stuck with the PC, building and upgrading every single one that I had since 1993. I tried also the Dreamcast when it was launched, a system that I only managed to attain a couple of years ago, and that I absolutely love for its astonishing graphical quality. I also bought a PS2 about 3 years after its original release, then an original Xbox, the Xbox 360 back in 2008, then the Wii in 2010, just 2 years ago grabbed and played for the very first time on my own PS3, and TurboGrafx, that was a gift from my wife. And just last year, for my birthday, the PS4 was my last acquisition in terms of gaming platforms. I also tried a couple of portable systems back then, like the Game Boy and Game Gear, but I'm not yet prepared to go that way, if you know what I mean. Maybe with the help of my young kid, I'll turn into that side of handheld gaming. So, as you can see, I traveled all the way through all these different gaming experiences, and I kind of felt the need to share it with all you guys. And as you might have noticed, I'm not stuck in the past. Since the beginning, that I've kind of labeled It's a Pixel Thing as a retro and not so retro gaming related channel. So expect stuff from the early days on the ZX Spectrum all the way to the more recent systems, if I can afford to do it, obviously. This isn't my full-time job, you know. I wish it was. I love doing this stuff. Thanks for asking. Now, next question from LazyThing3000. He asks, please do another Dakar video. And is there any other Dakar games? There's definitely a few other Dakar games, and I'm truly pleased that you've enjoyed the episode that I did almost over 2 years ago. I really enjoyed the race, and I'm truly looking forward for Gravel and the remake of Baja Edge of Control for the current gen systems. But again, as for Dakar games, I note that there's a couple others for the ZX Spectrum and at least one for the PS1 that was released exclusively in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. I have to make a research, and if I gather the necessary material, yeah, I'll certainly make a new video about it. Now, next one. Zyxios asks, will you be making SNES videos as well? I already have 2 or 3 reviews of SNES games, but I want to do more. And I'm also planning on pointing out my top 10 games on the system. Another objective for 2017. Stay tuned, okay? Now, the next question from VDG Jolie. Yeah, by the aesthetics of your game room and your, as I guess, self-made but very neat intro, is your profession related to graphical design or design in general? Are you an illustrator? Yeah, thanks for the question. I work as a graphic designer in the advertising area, and video games really drove me into it. I've always loved staring at the video game covers and adverts on magazines, and back in my youth, and as I already said, I used to draw comics and later play the drums in a really heavy metal band, as you might noticed. And so, yeah, that's it. Thanks for asking. Now, Matthew B asks, why were you tracing that Mandarin Soft logo? It was on my Europress retrospective that I used CorelDRAW to draw the logo. Because I do that stuff a lot of times for my videos. The dynamic software and dynamic software from the dynamic retrospective video and the 2XL Games logo for my Baja Edge of Control review. Those two logos were also traced in CorelDRAW, because I couldn't find those logos on the internet with enough quality to use them on those episodes. So I try to be as professional as I possibly can with my scarce free time that I have to make my videos, and I try to have the best visual quality that my hardware allows me to have. You know, my main PC is a simple Core i3 PC with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and with a NVIDIA card 960, I believe. I don't recall correctly. So yeah, I try to have the best quality that my hardware allows. So and I'm always learning. That's the awesome part of this video making stuff for YouTube. That we're always learning. It's freaking amazing. Doing this stuff is freaking amazing. I love this, and I wish that I could do this full time. You know. Now, William asks, would you say Shinobi's dog is an Akita Inu or a Samoyedo? Nice question. I believe he's referring to the dog that appears in Shadow Dancer. Have you played that game? I simply love it. It's one of my favorite arcade video games, Shadow Dancer. And I definitely think that it's an Akita. Yeah? Do you agree with me? Yeah. I'm not that how can I say, that specialist on dogs, but I think it's an Akita. Now, Andre Lopes asks, do you enjoy Virtua Cop and similar games? Yeah, I really enjoyed playing Virtua Cop 2 at the arcades. And I kinda like shoot-on-rails type of games. And unlike everyone else, I love Rambo, the video game. I simply love that game. Cause, as I said earlier, I'm a true fan of the character and of the Rambo franchise. And the soundtrack from Jerry Goldsmith. Man, it's short of amazing. I love that soundtrack. Amazing. Now again, VDG Jolie asks, do you prepare a kind of storyboard and scripts for your shows? How much time do you need for preparations, including research for facts, and how much time for editing? Yeah, I do prepare a script for my main episodes, and I do it during the week on my spare time, mostly at night. And I make my research and gather all other info and documents needed: gameplay footage, background music, brands logos. I always try to get the best possible, but some are so bad. Talking about logos, that as I said before earlier, some logos that I can find on the internet are so bad that I have to draw them. And then I shot the intro and record the audio, the narration, using nowadays using my blue Yeti microphone. That's simply awesome piece of hardware. I simply love this microphone. It's not that best looking. It's not the best looking microphone, but it records with an amazing quality. And after the audio is complete, it's time to put all that stuff together. I don't know how many hours exactly, but the final stage takes easily between 15 to 20 hours. It depends on the episode. Episodes related to company profiles, retrospectives, and complete stories are the ones that takes the most time to finish. But it's a true pleasure to make them, no matter how long it takes, you know. The LucasArts story, for example, took between 3 to 4 weeks to produce, and in spare time, you know, at night. And with these more extensive works that I do, I'm prone to make mistakes, and the LucasArts video, had a stupid mistake that I simply had to fix and re-upload it again. When that happens, I get really disappointed with myself, you know. I have to try not to rush my videos, cause sometimes I'm so tired from my real work that I just need to take some time off. And that's also why I don't have a specific day of the week to upload my videos. They're up when they're ready, when they're finished. Yeah, and even so, I make mistakes. Yeah. The guy that makes the video and the guy that makes everything shouldn't be the guy that reviews it, you know, that sees it for one last time before it is uploaded. Yeah, stuff. Thanks for asking. So, Phil Computer Lab asks, how do you find the time to produce such polished videos? Well, time is really scarce around here, you know. And I've just explained that in my last answer. But for instance, for pickups videos, I firstly record myself in front of a camera, showcasing all the stuff, and during the following weeks or even months, it depends on the quantity of stuff that I have to show, I capture the footage for each and every single game that is featured when I get the time to play it, normally at night after everyone is asleep. And there's times when I have issues capturing, and that, as you can imagine, can really be painful and frustrating. Yeah, this leads to this next question from Cruz Judd. Yeah, am I saying correctly? Do you find existing video clips of games online, or do you make your own game footage videos? Yeah, I only search online if I have problems capturing my own footage. Yeah, it happened a couple of times, couple or more times probably in the first videos. It was really hard to have a good capturing device, but with the Elgato, yeah, it's perfect. It's an amazing piece of hardware also, but even so I have issues from time to time. And capturing stuff on my Windows PC using Nvidia's Shadow Play is also its own issues, you know. Now, next one, Thomaniac asks, do you keep your games sealed, or will you play them in some time? Yeah, I normally open them up to capture footage for the pickups videos, and most of our Portuguese sealed games, mainly from the PS2 and original Xbox generation, those were sealed with a sort of shrink wrap, the plastic stuff. But for instance, with the GTA 5, I still keep my PC physical copy sealed because I own a digital copy of it. And I don't make unboxing videos, so yeah, my GTA 5 PC copy is still sealed. And I also have GTA 5 on the Xbox 360. So for now, that one is staying sealed. Now, next one again from André Lopes. He asks, what do you think on making a video regarding the Doom franchise, since the new one just came out? Yeah, this question was in the beginning of last year. Yeah, around April, I believe. So, André, I really want to make something related to the Doom franchise. Yeah, that can be different from everything else all over the internet. So yeah, probably in the future I'll make something related to that franchise, that awesome franchise that I always loved. But it will be difficult. Yeah, really difficult. Okay, Tiago Pereira dos Santos Silva, my patron, my first patron, he asks, have you already played Thimbleweed Park? No, not yet, Tiago. Yeah, sadly, but I want to do it. I'm really eager to play a good old point-and-click graphic adventure, cause, as you know, it's one of my favorite genres ever. I really love that genre, and I've made a recent video pointing out my 10 favorite point-and-click adventure games. That really shows the love that I have for that genre, you know? Now, a few questions from William. 3 or 4 questions from William. Total Recall or Predator? Yeah, Total Recall or Predator? Man, that's a tough one, man. I don't have the Predator. Where's Predator? I'm gonna get Predator. Yeah, Predator. Man. Total Recall or Predator? That's tough, you know? You shouldn't ask that question to a guy that is a freaking fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, or was a freaking Schwarzenegger fan. That's really tough to answer. Back in the 80s and 90s, I was a huge fan of Schwarzenegger and Stallone and Van Damme, you know. But as for your question, I guess I'm gonna go for Predator, mainly because of its setting, its jungle setting. Yeah, it's a freaking amazing setting for a game, for a movie. And these were the days when actors and the crew would really go to those places to freaking shoot the film, you know. Nowadays it's all happening indoors with green screens and stuff. Now, William also asks, if you had to choose a decade taking into consideration its gaming, music and film outputs, which one would it be? 70s, 80s, 90s or 2000s? Most likely the 80s. There were movies and music from the 70s that I only got to watch and listen during the 80s. So that decade was for me the most important. It was also when I discovered video games, and with the ZX Spectrum 48K and the good old arcades. It was the decade of discovery, you know, in every single department, if you know what I mean. Now, next question, also from William. An alien species comes to Earth and asks you to live with them. You can take your family with you. Nevertheless, you are told that you could only carry with you 2 gaming systems, be it consoles or PCs, and a bunch of titles for them. What would those 2 systems be? I would definitely take one of the most recent systems like the PS4, because there's a ton of awesome stuff coming, mainly in the racing genre. Yeah, Dirt 4 is coming next week. Yeah, cool. As for older hardware, I would probably choose a fully functioning and fully equipped late 90s PC, in where I could install a ton of emulators to play mainly Spectrum, Amiga, Mega Drive, SNES, and arcade games. Yeah, those were my 2 systems that I would take to another planet. Now, still from William, a friend asks you to recommend him or her your top 5 music records of all time, all genres allowed. What those would be? Just a moment. I'm gonna grab those 5 CDs, okay? So many of them. It's hard. 5 is really hard to point just 5. But my top 5 would be Dookie from Green Day. This was man, I recall so many happy moments while listening to Green Day, from Dookie from the Green Day, the album that really launched this band, at least here in Portugal. The Basket Case song is freaking amazing, man. Yeah, it's quick pass through. Portuguese band, Moonspell, Irreligious. I also love Wolf Art. Also have Wolf Art, but Irreligious was freaking awesome. Was and is freaking awesome. Another highly recommended album. That Opium song. Full Moon Madness. Oh man, so many awesome songs. Linkin Park it was and is another favorite band of mine, and Meteora is, in my honest opinion, the best album they've released. Yeah, so many awesome. Faint, Somewhere I Belong, Don't Stay, Jesus man, so many awesome songs in here. Now, a Germanic band, Rammstein, or as they say, Rammstein. Is it spelled correctly? I have a bunch of DVDs and stuff from these guys and all the albums, but I believe that Mutter, am I spelling it correctly? Mutter is freaking amazing album. I don't understand a word that these guys say in their songs, but that brutal industrial metal, Jesus, is so freaking amazing. Yeah, Rammstein. Now my favorite band ever is Manowar, and Hail to England was the album that made me love these guys, and is still my favorite album. Hail to England, man, freaking amazing CD. And yeah, the covers from these guys' albums are just like you know, video games from the 80s. This was released in 84. Yeah, freaking amazing. Now it's just a couple of references that yeah, were a huge deal also for me. Enigma, the very first album that I've heard from these guys, and I believe it was the first album from them. This is, listening to this is so freaking relaxing. An amazing album. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Awesome Enigma. And I couldn't pass out Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 2, where there's the music from the soundtrack of Terminator 2. Where is it? You Could Be Mine. Yeah, You Could Be Mine from Terminator 2. And with yeah, the best songs from Guns N' Roses are, yeah, in this CD. Knocking on Heaven's Door, Civil War. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, next question. Next question, still from William. From William? Yeah, from William. We're still in William. Your bookshelf is on fire. Oh no. You have time to save only 3 books. Which ones would them be? Just a moment, I'm gonna get them. And here they are. These were the books that I would grab and run from the fire. A Portuguese book related to video games. All 3 are related to video games. Video games in Portugal, story, technology and art. This is an amazing book. It's the book that really describes in detail from the early days stuff that yeah, people would do here in Portugal related to video games. We had the Timex factory that would make those ZX Spectrum clones, those Timex Spectrum computers, and this book is amazing. It describes with detail all those moments till the early days. I have to make a video. I have a good base for research on this theme and I have to make 2017 will be the year when I'll make a video about the Portuguese side of things. Yeah, this was one of the books that I would take with me. The other, obviously, the Sinclair ZX Spectrum Visual Compendium. That is a freaking amazing book. Yeah, that you all know, from Bitmap Books. And the other one, also from Bitmap Books, would be the Visual Compendium for the Commodore Amiga. These were the three books. Yeah, it's difficult. 3 is really a small number. I have so many books that I would like to take with me, but these are heavy also, and I couldn't run quickly enough with these really heavy books. And one last question from William, also: LGR, Happy Console Gamer, Metal Jesus Rocks, or 8-bit guy? Oh man, another tough question. So many awesome dudes, and it's hard to choose, but I can tell you that I started watching the Video Game Nerd show. I guess that it was the first YouTube show related to video games that I really watched. But I guess it was Norman from The Gaming Historian that made me think about creating my own show. But even so, LGR and Metal Jesus helped me to really jump forward and embrace this hobby. I choose them all. Yeah, can I choose them all? They're all great. Yeah, all of them were my mentors in a way or another, you know. So this wraps up this Q&A. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for sticking around, listening to all these things. And I want to also thank you for being around for one more year of videos. Yeah, I truly appreciate it, seriously. And I'll see you all in season 4. Cheers.